Have you ever done everything you were told was right, eating fruit every day, drinking more water, choosing healthy foods, and yet somehow your kidney numbers keep getting worse? If that question makes your stomach tighten even slightly, you need to listen very carefully because what's happening may already be far more serious than you realize. Here's the urgent truth most people never hear. Kidney damage does not announce itself with pain, warning signs, or dramatic symptoms. It progresses quietly and visibly often while you feel perfectly fine. And by the time creatinine rises just a little, by the time your doctor says, "We'll keep an eye on it," you may have already lost close to half of your kidney function without knowing it. What makes this especially dangerous is that the damage often hides inside habits you trust the most. Foods you believe are protecting your heart, fruits you were told boost immunity, evening routines you repeat every night thinking you're doing your body a favor. All the while, your kidneys may be struggling under a silent overload, inching closer to a point where recovery becomes far more difficult. But before fear takes over, there's something critically important you need to hear. This story does not end with damage, it begins with awareness. Because when you understand which foods quietly harm weakened kidneys and which ones actively support repair inflammation, control infiltration, the entire trajectory of your health can change. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how certain fruits eaten at the right time and in the right way can help reduce strain on your kidneys, support natural detoxification as you sleep, and in many cases, slow or even halt further decline. And as you'll soon discover, the smallest choice you make in the grocery store tonight could become the decision that protects your kidneys for years to come. Before we talk about which fruits can protect your kidneys, we need to confront an uncomfortable truth that almost no one explains clearly. Fruit itself is not the enemy, but when kidneys are weakened, even healthy fruit can quietly make things worse. Your kidneys are responsible for balancing potassium, filtering phosphorus, and clearing excess sugar byproducts from the blood. When kidney function declines even slightly, this system becomes fragile. Suddenly, foods your body once handled effortlessly can turn into a hidden burden. Fruits like bananas, oranges, melons, and even large servings of tropical fruit are naturally high in potassium. In a healthy body, potassium supports the heart, but in compromised kidneys, potassium can accumulate, quickly triggering fluid retention, dangerous heart rhythm disturbances, and in severe cases, medical emergencies, all without pain or warning. What makes this especially dangerous is how invisible it feels. You don't feel potassium rising. You don't feel phosphorus building up. Yet excess phosphorus, especially the kind hidden in foods, accelerates vascular calcification and promotes chronic inflammation inside kidney tissue. Add natural fruit sugars to the mix, and you create a perfect environment for oxidative stress and progressive scarring of the nephrons. I've seen patients genuinely shocked when their labs worsened, despite doing everything right. They were eating fruit daily, drinking smoothies, choosing juice over soda. No one told them that weakened kidneys don't fail loudly, they fail quietly. There's no sharp pain, no dramatic signal, just a slow decline that only shows up once significant damage has already occurred. This is why education matters more than restriction. The goal is not to eliminate fruit, but to understand which fruits overwhelm fragile kidneys and which ones work with the body instead of against it. Once you grasp this distinction, everything changes because you stop guessing and start choosing with intention. But understanding the danger is only the first step. Because once you know why certain fruits can quietly harm your kidneys, the next question becomes far more important: which fruits can actually protect them? And the answer starts with one fruit almost everyone underestimates. After understanding how certain healthy fruits can quietly push weakened kidneys closer to danger, the question almost everyone asks next is simple but urgent. So what can I eat without making things worse? And this is where the conversation finally turns from fear to strategy, because one of the most powerful kidney protective fruits is also one of the most overlooked: the apple. Most people walk past apples without a second thought. They're common, they're cheap, they don't feel special. But for someone with declining kidney function, an apple isn't just fruit, it's a calculated intervention. Apples are naturally low in potassium, which means they don't overwhelm an already struggling filtration system the way bananas, oranges, or melons can. That alone makes them safer. But the real power of an apple isn't obvious at first glance. I once worked with a patient who felt trapped. His phosphorus levels were creeping up. His inflammation markers were high. And he told me, "Doctor, I'm afraid to eat anything anymore." Instead of restricting him further, I gave him one instruction: eat one whole apple every day and do not peel it. He laughed. 3 months later, he wasn't laughing anymore. His phosphorus dropped significantly, and his inflammatory markers fell by nearly 1/3. The reason is pectin, a soluble fiber concentrated in apple skins. Pectin acts like a molecular sponge inside the gut-binding toxins, excess phosphorus and metabolic waste, before they ever reach the bloodstream and before the kidneys are forced to deal with them. In effect, it creates a secondary filtration system, taking pressure off kidneys that are already worn down. Clinical data backs this up. Studies published in kidney-focused journals show that higher fruit fiber intake is associated with up to 23% better phosphorus control. Long-term population data also links daily apple consumption with a lower risk of chronic kidney disease progression. Add in antioxidants like quercetin and chlorogenic acid, which target inflammatory pathways responsible for kidney scarring, and the apple becomes far more than a snack. It becomes daily insurance. One apple a day, skin on, no supplements, no complicated rules, just consistency. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because while apples protect your kidneys at the surface level, there's another fruit that works deeper at the cellular level, and ignoring it could mean missing the strongest line of defense you have. Apples work like a shield. They reduce the load your kidneys have to carry. But protection alone is not enough when damage has already begun, because once inflammation reaches deep into the filtering units of the kidney surface level, support can no longer reach where the real problem lives. And this is where blueberries quietly change the entire conversation. Blueberries don't just support kidney health, they operate at the cellular level in places most foods never reach. I remember a retired school teacher who came to me exhausted and discouraged. She had done everything right, cut sodium, drank more water, followed her doctor's advice, yet her kidney numbers refused to improve. Out of fear, she had eliminated almost all fruit, convinced that even small amounts would make things worse. What she didn't realize was that by avoiding blueberries, she was missing one of the most kidney-specific tools available. I asked her to try something simple: half a cup of blueberries 3 to 4 times per week. Nothing extreme, no powders, no supplements, just real fruit. 6 months later, her kidney filtration rate stabilized. Her inflammatory markers dropped. And for the first time in years, she said something remarkable. "It feels like my body stopped fighting itself." That's not a coincidence. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, the deep blue pigments responsible for their color. These compounds don't just circulate in the bloodstream. Research shows they can cross into kidney tissue and directly reduce inflammatory signaling inside the nephron, the very structure that determines how well your kidneys filter blood. In controlled studies, anthocyanins have been shown to lower kidney-damaging inflammatory cytokines by up to 40 to 45% in a matter of weeks. Even more important, blueberries help stabilize blood sugar and gently lower blood pressure, two forces that quietly destroy kidney function over time. A reduction of just a few millimeters of mercury in blood pressure may seem insignificant, but longitudinal data shows that even small improvements can meaningfully slow kidney decline year after year. Fresh or frozen blueberries retain their protective power. Half a cup is enough. Consistency matters more than quantity. But even cellular protection has its limits, because there is another fruit that doesn't just calm inflammation, it activates the kidney's own repair mechanisms. And ignoring that next step could mean missing your strongest opportunity for recovery. Blueberries calm inflammation and protect kidney cells under attack. But once the damage has slowed, the next question becomes even more important. Can the kidneys actually repair themselves? This is where red grapes quietly step into a role most people never expect. Not just protection, but repair. Most people see grapes as nothing more than a sweet snack, harmless, convenient, forgettable. But for someone with rising creatinine, red grapes are far more than that. They are a delivery system for one of the most powerful kidney-supporting compounds we know, resveratrol. I once worked with a 71-year-old grandfather who felt like he was running out of options. His creatinine climbed slowly month after month. He had already reduced salt, increased water, and cut back on fruit out of fear of potassium. When I suggested adding red grapes back into his diet, he looked genuinely confused. "Aren't those too sweet?" he asked. What he didn't know was that the deepest value of grapes isn't the sugar, it's the skin. Resveratrol lives almost entirely in the thin red peel, and this compound does something remarkable. It activates a cellular pathway known as SIRT, one often referred to as the body's repair switch. When activated, this pathway helps kidney cells repair, DNA damage, stabilize filtration structures, and calm chronic inflammation that accelerates kidney aging. This isn't theory. Research published in nephrology-focused journals has shown that resveratrol-rich diets are associated with improved kidney function markers, reduced inflammatory signaling, and measurable slowing of kidney decline. In some studies, kidney performance improved by over 20% within 6 months when repair pathways were consistently supported. Dark red and purple grapes contain significantly more resveratrol than green varieties. Combined with their high water content, over 80% water, they support gentle hydration without overloading weakened kidneys. The key is moderation and consistency. About 15 to 20 grapes 2 to 3 times per week, eaten with the skin intact, is enough to deliver a meaningful repair signal over time. This patient didn't change everything overnight, but gradually his inflammation markers improved, his energy returned, and for the first time in years, his lab results stopped moving in the wrong direction. But even activating repair pathways isn't the final step, because there is another fruit that targets something even deeper, the inflammation embedded inside kidney tissue itself. And missing that final piece could quietly undo everything you've just built. Red grapes help activate repair pathways inside kidney cells, but repair alone can stall if deep inflammation is still quietly burning beneath the surface. Because inflammation isn't always loud. Sometimes it embeds itself inside tissue, slowly tightening its grip until filtration weakens again. And this is where the final fruit enters the picture, one that most people completely misunderstand. Fresh pineapple. Pineapple is often dismissed as a vacation fruit, something sweet and indulgent. But for someone with rising creatinine, fresh pineapple can be surprisingly therapeutic when used correctly. Unlike many tropical fruits, pineapple is naturally low in potassium, making it far safer for weakened kidneys than mangoes, bananas, or oranges. But potassium isn't the real story here. The real power lies in an enzyme most people have never heard of: bromelain. I once worked with a man in his early 60s who struggled with swelling in his legs, constant fatigue, and kidney numbers that refused to improve. He told me quietly, "I just want to feel normal again." Instead of adding another restriction, I suggested something simple: half a cup of fresh pineapple 2 to 3 times per week. No cans, no juice, just fresh fruit. Within weeks, the swelling eased. His energy improved, and when his labs were repeated months later, his inflammatory markers had dropped significantly. That wasn't coincidence. Bromelain is a proteolytic enzyme shown in clinical studies to break down inflammatory proteins, reduce fibrosis, and improve tissue-level circulation. Research has demonstrated reductions in kidney-related inflammatory markers by up to 40% when bromelain activity is preserved. That last part is crucial because heat and processing destroy bromelain. Canned pineapple offers sweetness, but almost none of the healing effect. Fresh pineapple also delivers a strong dose of vitamin C, helping neutralize oxidative stress that accelerates kidney damage. Combined with its high water content, pineapple supports gentle detoxification without forcing the kidneys to work harder than they can handle. The rule is simple: fresh only, moderate portions, consistent use. About half a cup 2 to 3 times per week is enough to make a difference you can feel and often see in your labs. But knowing which fruits to eat still isn't the whole answer, because timing, rotation, and combination can quietly determine whether these benefits add up or cancel each other out. And that final piece may be more dangerous to ignore than any fruit itself. Before we finish, I want you to take a breath for a moment. If you're still watching this video, it means you care about your kidneys, and that alone already puts you ahead of where most people start. Kidney damage doesn't happen overnight, and healing doesn't require perfection. It happens through small, consistent choices, the kind you're now fully capable of making. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need fear. What you need is awareness, balance, and the willingness to support your kidneys instead of unknowingly overloading them. Choosing the right fruits, eating them in the right way, and giving your kidneys time to respond can make a real difference, not just in lab numbers, but in how you feel every single day. If this video helped you understand your kidneys better, I strongly encourage you to save it. Come back to it when you're grocery shopping, when you're unsure what's safe to eat, or when you need reassurance that you're moving in the right direction. Knowledge only helps when you can return to it. And if kidney health matters to you or to someone you love, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Each week, I share clear science-based medical insights designed to help you protect kidney function, reduce unnecessary damage, and make informed decisions without confusion or fear. No matter what your current lab results say, you are not powerless. Your kidneys are resilient organs. They've supported you through years of stress medications and hidden strain, and when you support them correctly, they respond. Keep learning, keep choosing wisely, and most importantly, keep believing in your body's ability to stabilize and heal when given the right conditions. I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we'll continue taking these steps together towards stronger, healthier kidneys.